Have you ever heard of Wizard Island? It's a cinder cone that juts out about 760 feet above the lake in Crater Lake National Park. Upon hearing about it, Katie and I immediately scheduled a boat tour to go there, for an allotted 3-hour stint alone on the island and a hike to its summit. The crater itself was formed after the massive eruption of Mount Mazama around 7,700 years ago, which collapsed the volcano here, and subsequent smaller eruptions built up the cinder cone now known as Wizard Island. Upon embarking on our boat ride there, one notices the crater walls, creating a nearly 2,000-foot fortress around the lake that crafts this geological wonder. And as you draw closer, the dense forests of mountain hemlock and white bark pine that contrast perfectly against the volcanic surfaces come into clearer view. When you take your first steps on the island, you know you're on grounds that few have treaded on. The bright greens of the moss, the deep blue waters around you that allow for visibility down to depths of over 100 feet, forcing your eyes to consider everything that you can in an instant. And as we began our 2.2-mile trek to the summit, each vantage point offered a unique spectacle that we knew could not be beat until we had reached the crest, which then rewarded us with a close-up view of the summit crater. For us, we couldn't have spent enough time here, looking out and seeing the distant Caldera walls and the deadwood trees or red lava stone around your feet. We knew this area would hold a special place in our hearts and create a memory that few have had the chance to experience. And as we began our descent, we were excited to get into the water below for the next part of our adventure here. We're on Wizard Island in the middle of Crater Lake National Park, and after ascending to the top, we're headed to the shore to swim in the waters there. The trail returning to the shore walks among some of the greenest trees you may ever see in your life, and, like us, had their roots on the ground and their heads to the sky. Trees are interesting. They've always represented, since ancient times, the symbol and expression of life, balance, and wisdom. The innate design that they offer even giving useful knowledge if you pay attention, representing how things that are divided are yet connected in some way. And as we looked around, all of this information absorbed subconsciously as we neared the shoreline. When we entered the 40-degree waters and took in deep breaths of the fresh mountain air, we enjoyed our time in this hidden oasis of an island, in the middle of a caldera, in the middle of Oregon. We swam, and laughed, and skipped rocks, and made memories, then left. As quickly as we had arrived, we left and wished that we could stay forever, but knew that our time here had passed, and that the gratitude for it was to remain with us. We boarded the boat that ferried us here, and started to drive away, and Wizard Island faded into the distance. And while we didn't find any casters of spells on the land itself, there was for sure some magic in the air, for as we looked around, everyone on our boat looked back in silence to an experience that I think everyone knew could not be repeated. Crater Lake is the deepest lake in the United States, and at 6 miles in diameter has some amazing hikes around its rim. That's our task for today, to trek along the East Rim Trail, an 11-mile-long journey through the densely forested sections of the rocky caldera edges of the lake. We walked along each path, feeding all of our senses and scoring the earth with our feet, merging from the shaded darkness and silhouettes to break out beams of light as the trees thickened and parted around us in every direction we looked. Entering wooded portals of hemlock, pines, and red firs, and through the naturally formed tunnels of wind that both directed us forward and invigorated. Among the deer, among the birds, and among the lowering sun as the day drew on, we felt ourselves on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless volcanic wonder older than several millennia, and within it all, found our place here among it.